Hey, this is Kat, the lead boss with the Revenue Accelerator. And today I have Chella Diaz. Now, Chella has been there, done that when it comes to money stuff. I'm talking about making it. I'm talking about overcoming those hurdles, talking about breaking through those barriers. So Chella, tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and why people should care.
Oh my goodness. And Kat, the other missing piece is losing it. I
Yeah.
mean, all of that and then losing it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And then coming back from it again.
I think the interesting thing for me, anyways, that I find is that money has always made sense for me
Mm.
since I was 9 years old, and my dad still tells the story. Right. So money is just, it was just thing, you know what I mean? At 9 years old, I could go to the farmer's market. I knew how much money to get out of the jar. I knew how much I needed to get the fruits and vegetables. Nine. I'm like, oh my God, I was one clever little girl, wasn't I?
Pretty responsible, right? I mean, someone who has money and still buys vegetables, like I would have been at the candy store for sure.
Oh, so that was an errand. No, it wasn't for me. It was for the house.
Yeah, no, I still would have
I
gone to the
was,
candy store.
yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, I love that. I did. I did. Unfortunately for me, my treat was getting freshly orange juice with carrot juice.
Mm.
That was my treat at 9.
But you grew up in the Pacific Northwest area? Yeah, that
And this was the
explains
farmers, right? There's something about getting
everything.
the fresh juice and the mixture together. I
Mhm.
don't know. I still go back to it from time to time.
So you were telling how money's been making sense to you since a very young age. That's the story about your dad.
Well, just that he still tells the story how I was so
Mm.
clever, because I have siblings that they're not really all that great with money. And to be quite transparent, so then I bought my car when I was 17,
Mhm.
my first house when I was 23.
Mhm.
To me, that's what I'm talking about made sense. You want
You know what to do
something.
with it to make it grow, right? It's not just like I knew how to spend it. I think a lot of people know how to spend it. We know a lot of people who have those holes in their pockets, right? Of whenever they get money, it just gotta they're the conduit, if you will, of it comes in and it goes right back out. But gaining wealth, like what is that about? What is gaining wealth, and how do you do it?
Yeah, what and it's in when I bought my first house, and then I met my boyfriend that who then became my husband. And when we moved in together, because I moved in with him, I realized that not everybody, and now
Mhm.
it's not a man versus women, it's nothing. But that's when I realized that not everybody thought about money the way I did,
Mm.
right? You want something, let's say you want a car.
Mhm.
Okay, how much is it going to be? And what can we do to get it? You
Mm.
want a house, same thing. What's the investment? What's the down payment? What can we do to get it? Right? It's just about that. So I grew up with my dad, and my dad owned quite a bit of property. So for me, owning a house is a must. Right.
Mm.
And I understand for my former husband, that was not the case, right? So not everybody has to have the house and the car and all of that. It's whatever it is that they want, right?
Mhm.
Whatever that life looks like. Is it investing in stock? Is it owning whatever that is, right? So it doesn't matter what you want to get. It's about what is it that lifestyle that
Yeah.
looks for you, and how can we reverse engineer so that we can
Mm.
get there.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still the what's the goal and what are the steps to get there essentially. So what are
Exactly
you
that.
seeing as like because I mean, we get it, right? Like, sure, fine, make it simple, you know. But why aren't people who, I mean, because that you could find that in terms of a concept, you could find a budget online, you could do all that, right? So why aren't people taking like what's the first step and why aren't people taking that first step?
Okay, definitely pay close attention, because she just asked. I always put a value on the questions, and that was $100,000 question, Kat. Because I mean, we'll see how much we rack up by the time we're finished with this show. So 100,000, because I call it the monkeys.
Mm.
What are those monkeys? What is that chatter? What is that inner critic telling you about?
Mm.
Now, was it easy for me to do it? No, but for me, let's take my car. For me, it was more important to get a car than it was to go to the music concert or to go to the
Mhm.
movies or to go out to dinner. Right? It's choices,
Mhm.
right? And for some people, and when I do my workshops, I've had people that are like, oh no, I'm not willing to give up purchasing makeup. great, right? But at least you know you have the options.
Yeah.
So I think it's one, who we hang out with, which I know we've
True.
all heard, right? We
Mm-hmm.
all heard that,
Mm-hmm.
right? But also, what do you truly want? Let's say you want a house, right? But let's say none of your friends own a house.
Mm.
And I know this is going to sound cold, and I know this is going to sound like cruel, but I'm sorry, you're going to have to get some new friends.
Level up.
Level up, right? And it's not that you're not going to hang out with those friends, but you're going to need to get people that, because they're going to be able to show you the way.
Or just
Right.
infuse you with the confidence that it's possible, right? That because we know that we've hung out with those people and they bring us down with their drama and their negativity and their victimhood, right? But being able to be with people who are living the life that you're wanting to be living, right? And it doesn't, like, I think you're going to say this, it's not someone that necessarily has to be, you're earning, 500,000 and you're hanging out with 50 billionaires, like 5 people making 5 billion or whatever it is, right? So it's not necessarily has to be that discrepancy, but I love what you're saying about like leveling up the people you're connected or you're around or spending your time with.
Right. And it can be somebody that's just 2 steps ahead of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. It could be somebody that purchased a home 2 years ago.
Mm.
It could be somebody that has a business that you want to have.
Mm.
Right. It doesn't have to be, like you said, that was a really, really great example. It doesn't have to be, but really start paying attention.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that you said the drama, right? So there's a couple of friends. No, there's a couple of friends that I found myself calling because I enjoy the drama. Because anytime I call, there's going to be drama.
Mm.
So this year I decided that it's time for me to stop that. I want to create my own drama.
Yeah.
But just becoming aware that that's what I was doing. And I'm being totally transparent. So there's a person that I've known for, we'll say, over 20 years. And I found it took me a while, but I found myself that every time I got off the phone with him, I wasn't feeling all that great. But it took me a couple of times. This is not something and then I decided, why am I doing this to myself? I deleted him from my social media and I deleted him from my phone. Now, if he calls me, I'll talk to him, but I am not reaching out.
Yeah.
But it took me a while. And you know what I mean? So I say this because sometimes we don't realize that we're stuck in the mud with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't.
Well, so and I bet, like, here's where my money's at. I bet that this happened way faster than probably would have happened in your youth, right? Like, there's so, like, we tend to dismiss our own evolution and kind of looking at the gap between now and where we want to be and not recognizing all of what we have accomplished and being like, you know what? I did that faster this time.
And also I need to level up, right? So starting to hang out in the places where you're going to find those new relationships, new friends, new people to hang out with, new accountability partners, whatever that may look like, right? So it's being really making that decision and then starting to hang out. And let me tell you, when you begin to hang out with those folks, it's going to become, and I've done this, right? I was like, why am I calling that person? Right? Because I was the one that was doing all the calling to check to see how they were doing. It's because totally transparent. I've never shared this before, but I was enjoying the drama, right? Because I knew they had drama. So I got myself sucked into it, right? It was that little ego. It's like, well, you know what? I have it better than they do. What the hell? Who cares? Why am I competing with somebody that's having a bad day?
There's like having been in, that similar situation, because I think we all have, right? And we've all had to like get rid of that 1 or 2 or 50 people that weren't great to have in our lives. So when I talk to clients and I see sometimes this pattern happening, it's the self-sabotage, right? It's I can, if I do this, I get sucked into it and, oh my God, like I have to help this person. Right. So I can't be doing this thing in my business because I'm helping this person and I'm not that savior, kind of complex or whatever it is. Or it's, I don't want to deal with this thing. So I know that I can go waste time. And I love your self-awareness of being like recognizing when it's happening, because sometimes that's the first step, right? Of just recognizing and being like, okay, I can't fix it this second, but I can notice. And I think noticing is a really empowering experience to have.
And when I get ready, like I said, there's a few I already let go, but there's still few that are still hanging out. But I catch myself cutting back. Like,
Mm-hmm.
is this really now
It is
the
like a
best?
drug, right?
It is. I
It
cannot
really
go
is.
turkey on this one. I did go turkey on Diet Pepsi. I'm so delighted to say I did go cold turkey on that one, and it's been about 18 months. But because I find myself asking, calling this person, is this the best use of my time at this moment?
That is such a powerful question. And that's not even with people, right? It's with every activity. Ooh, I can see where like you can be making a lot more money by just asking yourself that simple question. Is this the best use of my time?
Absolutely. Right. And oh my goodness. So let us totally empower you listeners. So one of my secret sauces that I just love to talk about is, are you being intentional and setting time in your day to
Mm.
make wealth power hours?
Mm-hmm,
You may
mm-hmm.
say your money making activities or whatever, but are you being intentional in putting that in your calendar?
Right. I see a lot of people doing that. And and it's one thing to schedule it. Are you doing it?
Are you doing it?
Right. Or are you starting and then letting all of a sudden the laundry has to be folded or whatever it is? Are you honoring the wealth hour, like you said?
Yeah. I know that a couple of realtors, and they're in the $1 Million Club. And I can tell you that 5 days a week, he does 3 wealth hours a
Mhm.
day, which is why he's in the $1 Million Club, right? And
It's
but
not
three
fixing
hours,
his website or, optimizing the buy button.
right? But if you think about it, 3 hours out of the day,
Mhm.
that seems so small in comparison to, right?
But how
Because
many
now
people
he
are
has,
doing an hour or
right.
30 minutes of it? I mean, concentrated, not because I think when you look at people's time, sometimes that 30 minutes or that hour happens throughout the entire day. And what if you just really sat down and focused?
What if you really just set a timer and you
Yeah.
don't move until that's done?
Yeah.
I,
So
I
what are your
really
thoughts
encourage.
on like, so I hear people talking about this, right? There's the, you want to push, but you don't want to hustle, right? But you want to push, but you want to push too hard. What's that line that you like talk to your clients about in terms of pushing yourself versus the kind of hustle energy, right? And I just made like a horrible face, but I think you know what I mean.
Oh God, absolutely. And that's the difference, right? Because if you just say to yourself that you're going to do, I call it the 50 minutes, right? You
Mm-hmm.
5-0, and then you take a 10-minute break and you do whatever you want to do with that 10 minutes.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
important that we reward ourselves. But let's say that you say to yourself, I'm going to do 1 power hour today,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you commit to doing that. I can tell you this from experience, though, that at the beginning is going to be hard because you're going to fight it. It's a new
Mm-hmm.
skill. Think
Mm-hmm.
about it as going to the gym. We're not going to get a six pack if we go to the gym 3 times. It's just not going to
Or
happen.
just drive to the gym, right? You gotta get out
Well,
of the car and go work out, right?
what if
I
I
see
walk to
people
the
in the
gym?
parking lot.
That's good. Maybe if I walk to the gym, but just if you're consistent with that,
Yeah.
right? But this is crucial because this is a $50,000. What if you're doing something you love, and I'm not saying you're going to love all of it because we love, but if you love 80% of what
Mm-hmm.
you do, the 20% to me is the paperwork because I don't love that
Mm-hmm.
part,
It's just the
right? But it
reality of
comes
it.
with.
Yeah.
But if you're doing something that you love and you have a product or a service that can help somebody, I think it's a shame that you're not sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think is when the monkeys show up, right? It's that little girl, that little boy that says, "Oh, but what are they going to think about me? Or what if they don't want it?" You know what?
Mm-hmm.
If I call you up and I say I have this ABC thing, and you say, "I'm sorry, no, not for me." Great. Who do you know that can benefit from this?
Mm.
Right? It's about sharing that, planting seeds every day. So make your wealth calls about planting seeds. And then 30 days, 60 days from now, collecting the harvest.
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, yes, you could get lucky and some of those calls will turn into immediate clients. That has happened. But think of it as planting seeds. And if you're not loving what you do, maybe it's time to switch,
Yeah.
right?
I mean,
Because
I know my husband
maybe
has
this
said
is not
something
for you.
once that if you don't enjoy the process, right? I mean, it's not really not his saying, but he said it to me once and it was like a slap in the face. And I was like, you're right. It is about enjoying the process and infusing fun, right? Because business can be playful, business can be fun. It doesn't have to be this grueling, trudging through the mud, anticipating all of these things going wrong experience. I know one of the things that you talk about is finding leaks, right? The financial and the money leaks in your business.
Oh my
And
God,
I
my
think
favorite.
you identified one here, right? Which is definitely this wealth hour of if you're not doing it, that's where you're leaving money behind, or you're helping money leave your business essentially. It doesn't even come in; it just like redirects itself.
Right.
What are some other like money leaks and steps, right, to help with plugging them up?
You absolutely, and that is starting with a review.
Mm,
Do a review. I'm not eventually going to do quarterly, but when we first start our business, there's so many gadgets that we think we need,
mm.
right? And I know somebody recently did this. They did an inventory and they saved $500 a month
Let's be clear,
by
that's $6,000 a year, people.
by
Not chunk
canceling.
change. Yeah.
Right, by canceling some of the subscriptions that were automatically being
Mhm,
charged.
mhm, mhm,
So that's why review is crucial.
mhm.
Or is it time for you to combine services, right?
Yep.
And I'm not saying let it go, but upgrade the services where now you might be able to use one system instead of three. I
Yeah.
know somebody right now, a different person, by combining systems, saving 780 pounds because they're in the UK a month.
It's not I mean, that's some VA help, right? To be able to redelegate, some of the stuff you don't want to be doing. Some of that 20% can go right out the door to help you expand more with that 80%.
Absolutely. So just by taking a review of where the money is going,
Mm,
like just really, whether it's your bank statements, whatever that looks like, but beginning to really pay attention to where that is, because you're right, you can reallocate,
mhm,
right? And also some of the stuff you may not be using to its full potential. So why
mhm,
why do
mhm.
you have it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
There's so many different strings.
And it's like
What's
when
the money
you,
go?
I know, like I've fallen into this for, I looked at it and it was these $49 charges here and there. And it was those one-off like, yeah, deals, right? So lifetime deals for $49 or 69 or 89 or whatever it is. And then you just ended up never using it because the marketing copy was so good. For sure. So what are some other like areas that leaks are happening in your business when it comes to finances and wealth?
Well, actually, this is in your personal life, but to me, they go hand in hand because if you're saving your personal life, it's going to go
In your
roll over.
business too, in terms of
It's
subscriptions and
part of
stuff
your
like that.
business.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't realize how much money goes out for eating,
Yeah.
right? Because we really don't realize, one client did this and she found out that she was spending $750 a month for lunch,
Just lunch.
just lunch, maybe a little snack.
Mhm,
She worked
mhm,
at an office, right? So food is a huge, huge thing because we don't realize one and two. I know we get busy. I really, I get it.
mhm,
I trust me. But if you take a step back, okay, maybe two steps back and plan out, maybe you have some meals in your freezer. I
mhm,
personally, totally transparent, I love my smoothies. So I have prepackaged about 10, sometimes 10 days, maybe 14 days of prepackaged smoothies.
mhm,
So if I'm in the crunch and I didn't cook or whatever the case may be, I just go make a smoothie.
mm.
Right. I'm not saying that everybody's going to have a smoothie. I'm not saying that. So I also have prepackaged meals
Yep.
where I cook over the weekend and I put them in individual packs and
Mhm,
then they're in the freezer. So I
mhm,
always have a meal. Right. So I believe in eating out, but I don't believe that eating out because there's nothing in the house for me to eat.
mhm.
And if you think about it, what a waste of time, right? Because now I'm going to have to drive somewhere, wait in the line.
Or pay a premium just to have something that was $25 be delivered for 35 or 40 or 50 even. I've seen, oof, those Uber Eats and Grubhub delivery charges.
I have to say, I've never used one.
Mm,
but I know they're popular. I mean, I know
Mm-hmm.
it, but yes, but it's interesting, right? So food and just preparing, just have whatever, even snacks. What if you have your favorite snacks so that you don't get to that hungry, I'm going to go pay $50 for a meal to be
Mm,
delivered to me,
mm,
right?
yeah.
Take that craving off. So I think food in our personal lives is where I have found we tend a lot of our money goes. But when you're able to cut that back, then again, that could go towards that VA that's going to help you for the 20%, which is going to be help you be even more productive.
Mm,
Because now you know that you don't have to do that 20%, right? There's a feeling of, oh, I'm going to do the 20%. I know I'm going to do it. But then I don't have to do it because somebody else is already taking care of it.
right.
That's a good place to be.
So I know you do a lot of work with energy too. You talk about it, you work with it, you feel it. What does energy have to do with kind of creating wealth and, kind of running your business essentially?
Great question. Another $100,000 question, folks. So energy to me, and I've been doing this for quite some time, right? But to me, the energy, whether you want to call it energy source, whatever you want to call it, is simply being in alignment. So you said
Mm,
earlier, how do I get myself to do the 1 hour, just
mhm.
one a day, is by knowing that what you have to offer, product or service, is needed and somebody's willing to pay you a lot of money for it, right? It's not a force. And also we make it personal,
Mm,
right? When somebody says no, we take it personal. No, no, it has nothing to do with me. It has
yeah,
to do with the fact that the timing is off or
yeah,
they're not ready for that service or product,
absolutely.
right? But when you become in tune with the energy, and we all do this, right? Let's put it in something where I think everybody's going to understand. We've all worked with a coach or a mentor that we paid a premium for, and we knew it was the wrong decision, right? But we did
Mm,
it anyways. I call it the shiny object. And like you
yeah,
said, the copy was so good, we jumped in, right? They made us feel like, oh my God, he's going to help me. They're going to be able to help me to get to where I want to be. So the copy is great. We've all done it. I knew that I should, I mean, I just knew in my being, my energy is like, you don't need to be doing this right now. But I did it anyways, right? So it's when we go against that intuition,
mm,
whispers,
mm-hmm,
there's whispers and there's the monkey chatter, right? The
mm,
monkey chatter is different because they prevent us from doing what we need to do. But those whispers that are helping you along, when we begin to listen to that, life is a heck of a lot more fun. And it's a lot easier because you're not fighting yourself.
yeah. Now, I love that you talk about whispers because it definitely can feel that way. What are your thoughts on, like, in a way, like signs and omens and symbols? Are those things that you believe also help support people along their path, or do you not give stock in that?
Absolutely. Especially if anybody wakes up between 2 a.m. and 4-ish.
Okay.
I mean, it can happen all the time, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah.
can happen, the numbers. I'm a
You could
huge
have an
number.
infant and obviously you're waking up pretty much at that time frame at some point, but
Right. But no, absolutely. It's the signs. It's when you take the moment to really, for me, it's be in tune with nature and
Mm.
you listen. I have tons of birds that follow me. They really do. I mean, they're
Yeah,
just
so I was
everywhere.
going to ask, like, what are the signs that people should be looking for, or what are the whispers? I mean, you talked about one, which is your intuition of just kind of knowing. Is it stronger than a whisper? And then are there actual, like, I know some people it's like owls, or other people it's, seeing the number 5 or something like that. Like, is it unique to each person, or are there like standard universal signs that say, hey, money's coming your way, or hey, you're on the right path, or, answering your questions essentially?
Yeah, and that's why it's come in so many different ways because we tend not to listen to the first one. So my favorite one is when I ignore being woken up at 3:13 for seems like years. It's like, oh, I don't have time for this, right? So I kept ignoring it
Hmm.
until I began my spiritual journey. And I was like, okay, maybe we need to pay attention to this. So waking up in the morning, in my opinion, is yes, your higher self, your angels, however you refer to them, letting you know, guiding, they're paving the road for you, right? And that happens even before we wake up.
Mm.
So pay attention to what time you're being woken up.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy. You can just do Google 3:45. That's because what time I woke up this morning. Angel number. And I say angel number. And it gives you guides. And I think those are guides.
Mm.
Now, sometimes I'm not happy with the messages, right? It's like, oh, that's not for me. But so sometimes I fight them. But then throughout the day, so that's the first one, right? But then throughout the day, are you paying attention to the clock? What are the numbers telling you? Are there different animals showing up your way? What about that little voice that says, go to this coffee shop or go to this library? And you're like, that's the most ridiculous thing I have ever heard. But what if you do trust and you actually go?
Mm.
And sometimes it's just about the adventure. And I say this because it's like, go to this coffee shop. It's like, but you know what I mean? Sometimes it's about, are you paying attention?
Mm.
I believe that we are being tested. Like, go to this coffee shop, go to this library, makes no sense, right? But it's about communicating. They're communicating, so they're giving you simple tasks. Are you going to follow them or are you going to ignore them? So guess what? When you follow them, then all of a sudden you begin to get another one and another one and another. And next thing you know, you're just so into wanting to, because I think we all have guides, right? Wanting for them to help you along the way, along your journey.
Yeah.
All we need to do is listen.
I really love how you share that these are happening daily, right? And like multiple times a day. It's not this, once a year, you're going to have this one opportunity and this one door that'll open, but there's always these constant iterative opportunities for you to be able to say yes to yourself. And your guide, spirit, source, universe, God, whatever you want to call it, isn't giving up. Right? They keep presenting these opportunities for you to be able to say yes until, you're ready to kind of tune into that frequency or that radio station, if you will. There's one more question I wanted to ask, which was, how can people kind of activate and achieve their financial goals? So you talked about setting it, reverse engineering it, looking for opportunities, kind of doing that wealth hour, being in full alignment with what you're offering and what you're doing and the price points and all that. Is there anything else that goes into this pretty amazing formula that you've been sharing today?
Absolutely. And listen, we're humans, right? At the end of the day,
I'm a goddess, but fine.
We're having a human experience at the moment. I say that the secret sauce is find an accountability partner. Find somebody where you're going to have similar goals. You check in with each other once a week. And you're like, okay, this week I'm going to do 3 wealth hours. And then the following week, 1 week, you come in. It's not a nagging, and it's not of no whining. There's no whining in this. It's about keeping each other accountable so that you're helping each other elevate. Yeah. Currently, I don't use them as often now, but for a while there, I had 3 accountability partners, right? Because I wanted to reach these goals.
To move, yeah.
Right. And so accountability partners, and the magic where a lot of people don't think about is having 3 people. So let's say that we had Susan in our mix. So Kat will report to me and tell me what her goals are. And then I will hold you accountable. And then I will report to Susan, and then Susan will report to you. Right. So that it becomes, you're holding me accountable. I'm holding her accountable.
Yeah.
So it's a nice little, because what I found is just 2 people, we become too accustomed, and then we begin to let
it slipping, and this meeting gets missed, and we'll meet next week, and then all of a sudden it stops happening altogether.
Right. Oh, I got a sick. I got a cold. No. Because I don't know what the goals are, right, that you want to achieve. I just know what you're holding. I'm holding you accountable. I'm leveling up that. So
I had some clients talk about this the other day, and they said something that was pretty amazing. And so this will probably be the only time I give them credit, because then I'll start stealing it myself, which is, when you're doing accountability, you're lending your confidence to the other person. And that seems, because a lot of us entrepreneurs are obligers, right? And especially as women, we will do for others before we ever do for ourselves. But that's the magic of accountability, is what you're saying is, I'm going to show up for you because you're asking me to show up for you, and you're dependent on me to help you be successful. And so that spurs me to show up, and vice versa. You're doing the same for me. And so you're kind of lending each other your confidence to be able to do the thing that you're able to accomplish.
I'm going to borrow that.
Isn't it powerful?
That's good.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
It stuck with me, obviously. So, but looking at, I mean, a lot of times isn't the lack of confidence the thing that is preventing us from standing in our worth, for asking for that sale, for doing the power, sorry, I call them power hours, wealth hours,
that's wealth hours, power hours,
right?
money
Like
making.
doing the outreach,
Yeah.
asking, connecting, having the conversation, right? Doing the work. Where's the confidence? If you're not doing it, that just might be the thing that really pushes you over the hurdle into the possibilities of, your own life and in your business. Chella, how can people get in touch with you? Because I know you have some amazing resources that really dive deeper into a lot of the things you share today.
Absolutely. So the best way is chelladiaz.com, my website.
Beautiful.
They can also, I do a personal page, Chella Diaz. We're making it very simple. Chella Diaz all over the place. I'm doing a weekly live in Facebook, just answering questions, bringing in
Mm,
tips, right?
mm.
And sharing resources there. So Facebook or my website are the best ways to get a hold of me.
Beautiful. So all of those links will definitely be in the show notes for you listeners out there who want to check that out. Chella, anything that you want to share in terms of parting words or things that you want people to know?
No matter where you are on your journey, today is a fresh start. Take an action towards your goal.
Mm, wow. Very powerful, and absolutely agree and endorsed as like business truth. Absolutely take action towards that thing. And it's really one step at a time, right? So thank you so much for being on today. You've been really amazing.
It's been a pleasure. I had so much fun.
Thank you.